The world watched in horror on October 7, 2023. Hamas, the Palestinian militant group, launched a devastating surprise attack on Israel. The attacks were brutal. They were coordinated. The images were unforgettable. They shook the world. This was not just another conflict in the Middle East. This was an act of terror on a scale rarely seen. The death toll was staggering. Nearly 1,200 innocent lives were lost, including over 40 Americans. The attacks left an indelible scar, a reminder of the fragility of peace and the human cost of hatred. The world mourned with Israel. The international community condemned the attacks. The U.S., a steadfast ally of Israel, vowed to bring the perpetrators to justice. The attacks were a stark reminder of the persistent threat of terrorism. They underscored the need for global cooperation to combat this scourge. The world held its breath, waiting to see how justice would be served. The U.S. Justice Department took decisive action. It unsealed charges against 6 high-ranking Hamas leaders. These individuals were not foot soldiers. They were the masterminds behind the October 7th attacks. The charges were grave terrorism, murder conspiracy, and sanctions evasion. This was not just about holding individuals accountable, it was about dismantling a terrorist network. Attorney General Merrick Garland made it clear, the U.S. would not tolerate terrorism. He vowed to pursue justice for the victims and their families. The FBI and other agencies were mobilized. This was a global manhunt, a commitment to leaving no stone unturned. The message was clear. Justice would be served, no matter how long it took. The indictment named 6 key figures in Hamas's leadership. Yahya Sinwar, the group's political leader, was at the top of the list. Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas's former political chief, was also charged. Mohammed al-Masri, Marwan Issa, Khaled Mashal, and Ali Baraka completed the list. These were not obscure figures. They were the architects of Hamas's terrorist activities. These leaders were accused of playing pivotal roles in the October 7th attacks. They were charged with conspiracy to support a foreign terrorist organization. They were charged with conspiracy to murder U.S. nationals. The evidence was overwhelming. Their public statements, their actions, and their leadership roles all pointed to their guilt. The charges against the Hamas leaders carry severe penalties. Life imprisonment was a possibility. The death penalty was also on the table. The U.S. justice system was sending a powerful message. Terrorism will not be tolerated. The U.S. government was committed to holding terrorists accountable. This case was not just about punishment. It was about deterrence. It was about sending a message to other terrorist organizations. The world is watching, and justice will be served. The international community watched closely, hoping this case would set a precedent. Section 5. Striking at the head. Why these leaders? The United States government's decision to target these specific Hamas leaders was strategic. These were not just individuals, they were symbols of Hamas's power structure. By charging them, the U.S. aimed to cripple the organization. The indictment was a blow to Hamas's leadership. It disrupted their operations. It sent a message to other members. No one is above the law. This was a calculated move to weaken Hamas and deter future acts of terrorism. Section 6. Unveiling the plot. How the attacks unfolded. The charges against the Hamas leaders provided chilling details about the October 7th attacks. They revealed meticulous planning. They exposed a vast network of collaborators. The attacks were not impulsive. They were the result of careful coordination. The indictment detailed the flow of money, weapons, and instructions. It showed how Hamas leaders planned, financed, and executed the attacks. This information was crucial for intelligence agencies. It helped them understand Hamas's methods and prevent future attacks. Section 7. Global shockwaves, international implications, and diplomatic fallout. The U.S. charges against Hamas leaders had far-reaching implications. They reverberated through the Middle East. They impacted diplomatic relations. They fueled debates about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Some countries applauded the U.S. action. They saw it as a necessary step to combat terrorism. Others criticized it. They feared it would escalate tensions. The charges became a focal point in international relations, highlighting the complexities of the fight against terrorism. Section 8. Justice's long arm, the significance and future of the investigation. The U.S. charges against Hamas leaders marked a turning point. They demonstrated the U.S.'s commitment to holding terrorists accountable. They sent a clear message: the world will not tolerate terrorism. The investigation was ongoing. The pursuit of justice was relentless. The U.S. government was determined to uncover the full extent of Hamas's network and bring all those responsible to justice. The world watched, hoping for a resolution that would bring closure to the victims' families and prevent future tragedies.